Energy is related to transportation, is related to water, it is related to health. It is intertwined with everything. We need to be open to alternative fuels and alternative energy sources. What is going to be the best, and how can you manage it the best?
No matter how else you talk about it, basically the energy is coming from the sun. It drives our weather, whether you're using a windmill, or it drives solar panels if you're using solar panels. It makes oil if you're talking about oil. So however you want to go about it, it started back at the sun. If you step way back, you ought to be able to say to yourself, energy should be free. It shouldn't be the most expensive thing on the menu. It ought to be free because the photons out there are free.
If you look at all of the universe, at one time it was energy.
Yes.
So how can you put a price on that, right?
Yes, and there's plenty of it. The problem isn't, is there enough? There is more than enough. The question is, how do you get it from over there to over here where you can use it? We get a lot of coal in the United States. It's the worst way to get energy in terms of cleanliness. We have natural gas, which is a big, big contributor, which is better than coal, but not great. And then we have lots of other, what I'll call rats and mice. Everything's kind of 3%, 5% after that. And what we're trying to do is flip that entirely. Maybe have a menu of items where those first two things are at the bottom, and where we have 80% of our generated electricity coming from alternative energy sources which don't pollute.
Because of the threat of climate change and the greenhouse gases that our energy systems are emitting now, we really need in the next couple decades to go to basically zero greenhouse gas emissions from our energy. And we'll do a lot of that with efficiency. We'll do a lot of that with renewables like solar and wind. My expectation is we'll do a lot of that with nuclear. And so anything that is moving in the direction of really zero emissions energy is tremendously important in this century.
There's nuclear power plants, there's solar power, there is wind power now, there's hydropower.
Yes, and a lot of these things are more scalable than people believe. Make a list of places where you can stick a solar panel. You can put it on your garage, on your rooftop, on the school bus. It's really easy to put solar out there. So these are things that can be started today, and then smart guys like you come along and say, wait, I can build that better, and you just keep improving it. We can solve a lot of the world's problems, but we have to start right now. We can't keep talking about it. We got to actually do it.
People rise to occasions, and this is a global occasion, and it's going to be a century-long problem. This is not something that will be solved in 2 or 3 years, or probably 2 or 3 decades. So it's going to take bearing down by a lot of people for a lot of time to make it happen.
There are a lot of thought leaders who are starting to come to the same conclusion. Guess what? There is no single conclusion. So it's not, do you like nuclear, or do you like wind, or do you like solar? It's going to be all these things together in some kind of very intelligent global program if it's going to work properly.
The world is in a position of building, and if you don't think big, then someone else has already thought of it. Some of the things that we think about when we say, this is an amazing idea, but it would never happen, it's not that far out there. There's lots of things that we can do, so you have to think big. That's how innovation is born.